This is the Jack Murphy Podcast. Here's your host, Jack Murphy.
So, John, did you get my picture of the dollar I found?
Lucky you. Must be your lucky day.
Yeah,
Murph.
John is always, like me, he walks a lot, and he always sends me pictures of coins that he finds. And, we both say, if you find money laying on the street, pick it up.
Does it irritate you when I keep, banging you with pictures of just me holding a penny?
Well, the day I got like 4 or 5, I was saying, okay, I get it. You've been very lucky today. But
No, but you're supposed to be happy for me when I do that.
I got up this morning, walked my 5 in the woods, and exercised, and then had no food at home. So I ran out to the grocery store, and I'm on my way out, John. I looked down, there's $1. And I sent you a picture of it. The funny thing was I jumped in my car, and I'm leaving, and there's a City of Charlotte garbage truck there. And the lady in the garbage truck, she waves at me, and I roll down the window. She said, "You got your $1?" And I went, "Yeah." She said, "I saw you take a picture of it. You send that to your wife or something?" And I said, "No, I sent it to my buddy John, who's always finding money and sending me pictures."
That's good karma. I went, I sent you all the pictures I found this week, probably 85 or 90 cents.
Yeah.
But anyway, I didn't find any money yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, well, today's the day. I'm just not going to get any money.
Well,
it's let me tell you what happened. About a month ago, I lost my wallet.
Shut up.
There's $120 in it, and then I had to get a new credit card and a new debit card and a new license and a new
There's
insurance.
no worse feeling, is there?
It's the worst feeling. And you're so mad that whoever found it didn't send it to you.
Yeah. Even if it's $5 or $10, still, I hate to lose money.
I was so mad I was hitting the steering wheel. I was having a conniption. I was just beside myself.
I know your temper. I bet you were.
So yesterday I found my wallet.
Where was it?
It was in my storage shed. I had grabbed a 5-pound jug of water, and I must have fallen out of my pants.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out. $120 was in here.
All right. Looking
this
good.
is my money today.
My favorite thing is when you go to the dryer and you open the dryer and there's money in there. That's the best.
It's a great thing.
$10, $15 in there. We're trying to be positive today. We're trying to be upbeat, but it's a dark day. I think a very bright light went out yesterday when Charlie Kirk was assassinated out in Utah. It was a terrible thing. This guy, so amazing. So articulate. He could sell what he was talking about better than anybody I've seen in a long time. Maybe like Trump-like. You could look at this guy at 31 and look at the organization he'd created and how many, he has 7 million followers on the talk. All young people, conservatives, and he talks about 3 things: faith, family, and America. Those are his.
Act like those were so, radical ideas.
Well, to the left, they are radical ideas. They don't want to hear about your faith. They don't want to hear about family, and they're sick of America. That's their whole deal. But he created an unbelievable movement. And my walk in the woods this morning, I talked about it, that you could look at that guy seriously, and particularly if you really paid attention and listened to him talk, listen to him debate people. He would line up these college kids. When he would do a campus appearance, he would say, "If you disagree with me, come to the head of the line." And he would tell his supporters, we don't harass these people, we don't boo them, we don't hiss them, we talk. And he would, logically lay out his points and just was unbelievable at doing it. But you could look at him, John, I think, and say, there's a guy that could be president in the next 10 years. And I think
his debates, when I would watch his debates, I would think, how does he just not scream at this person that you are an idiot? He had the patience of a statue.
But you could look at him and say, he could be a president in 10 years. And I think that scared somebody on the left really, really bad. Now, this morning, after I did my walk, I got back, they were doing a press conference, and apparently they have the killer on video. At the press conference, they said they had tracked him to the location. They had gone up on the roof where he was. They found the gun. After he shot the one shot, he went to the back of the building, which I guess is a lot lower. It's probably on a mountainside or something. And he jumped off the building and fled into a neighborhood. And they got a lot of video of him. They said they have a clear shot of his face. So it may not have been a professional. It may have just been a very motivated individual. We'll see.
They say from that vantage point that you had to have some skills to do
Yeah,
that.
it was about a 200-yard shot. I mean, a lot of deer hunters make that shot all the time. He did it with a very good rifle, a bolt-action rifle that is very accurate. So we'll find out. I think they'll catch the guy relatively quickly if he doesn't kill himself. But John and I passed some text this morning, and I was just shocked at the evil ugliness of a lot of people, both on television and on social media.
Let me go ahead and just say, if you have a nose ring, you need to remove it or leave it so we'll know exactly who you are, because anybody with a nose ring now, I'm going to look at suspiciously. Every video I saw, and, it's one of those hate watch. You had to watch it just to see what these people do. I'm appalled. I'm disgusted with the despicable behavior I've seen that these people glaringly put out on their friggin' TikToks, these dances, these smarmy comments. It makes me want to spit.
Yeah, I agree. And a lot of people who did that are already facing the consequences. Matthew Dowd, who is a really unhinged left-wing liberal on MSNBC, he got fired yesterday, and I applaud MSNBC for that. He said this on MSNBC yesterday, that he said, well, we really don't know what happened. We don't know if it was one of his supporters waving a gun and it went off as they were supporting him.
Here's the thing, though. It's not like anybody else on set corrected him and said, bro, what the hell kind of thing is that to say?
Exactly. Nobody said a word to him. It just went on. But he was fired. And then if you go a little deeper, Governor J.B. Pritzker, his rhetoric is to blame President Trump for this whole thing. He said that President Trump fomented it, despite his own history of incendiary comments lately. The extremist governor was asked by a member of the press about the shooting and murder, and he had a quick word of sympathy for the family. Then he went straight to blaming conservatives and Donald Trump.
It's the ultimate gaslight to blame a man who's had 2 attempts on his life in the last year and say that he's responsible for violence.
On social media, there's a lot of backlash, too. Of course, there's just idiots who go on there and go, he's dead.
Now, listen, here's the thing. If David Pakman or the Young Turks, one of those people were...
Wait a minute, who's David Pakman? I don't know.
David Pakman is he's a very popular liberal podcaster, one of the more popular ones. They don't do as well online as Republicans.
Well, that's what I mean about Kirk, is that the left had nobody in his stratosphere. AOC, Pete Buttigieg, please. They didn't have anybody on his level.
Here's the thing, though. So let's say that let's say Rosie O'Donnell. This happened to Rosie O'Donnell. Mm-hmm. I'm not a fan of Rosie O'Donnell, but I certainly wouldn't be cheering, and I certainly wouldn't do it online. And it just shows people's true colors. And if anybody, listen, I was kicked off YouTube 2 years ago because I was.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. What happened?
I remember I used to do videos. I did a pretty regular.
You were doing a podcast with.
I did one of those reactions of To Catch a Predators, and I was just joking on it. And somebody must have complained, and they won't let me get back on. That's why.
What did you say?
I mean, the videos of it are up on my Facebook and Rumble, so I didn't get kicked off Rumble or Facebook, but YouTube kicked me off. Now, I wonder how many of these people are going to be kicked off for the filthy, rotten, despicable things they've been saying in the last 12 hours. Probably none, because it's freedom of speech.
I have never done this before, but this morning I reported a couple of people on TikTok for inappropriate posts. I did. I'll go ahead and admit it right now that I did.
I've actually blocked 2 people on my Facebook, and one is somebody I've known 33 years.
Good.
And the reason I blocked him was because he's Mr. Political. He's Mr. Every time Donald Trump sneezes, he's got a post out about it for 3 or 4 days. Mm-hmm. So I thought, okay, well, here's a big political story. I wonder what his take is on it. Friggin' crickets. He hasn't posted all day yesterday.
Well, you haven't heard a word from Obama, Clinton, Hillary, or Bill. You haven't heard a word from Michelle Obama. You haven't heard a word from Biden. I hadn't heard a word from Kamala. They'll just lay low and keep quiet because there's only danger in this. Now, some of the people, there was a woman that everybody was reposting on the talk this morning, a Florida anesthesiologist, who announced that she was glad that Charlie Self got himself effing shot and declared that no one should give an F that he's dead, and then later wiped her social media account. And, of course, it was too late. Everybody was stitching this thing, and I think she's been fired, too.
Isn't it interesting that the party that claims moral superiority are the ones tolerance? They're the ones who want to end babies. They're the ones that cheer on Luigi, and they're the ones that cheer when Charlie Kirk gets assassinated. And they're the ones
they claim to want free speech, and yet when you're free speech, they call you Hitler or other name. Nazi.
They're also the ones that'll actually literally scream while you're trying to conduct interviews. On the street, you'll see a lot of these YouTubers and streamers.
And by the way, they're all women with nose rings, pretty much.
All of them.
Just about all of them.
Beta boys and old soy boys.
And they like to beat on pans and
make noise.
Cowbells.
Yeah.
It's just unhinged behavior is what it is.
But they're the tolerant. They're the tolerant.
Right. We're in the wrong. We're wrong. We're intolerant. They've got the moral high ground. This anesthesiologist, Dr. Tatana Atkins of Larkin Community Hospital in Miami. So hopefully we'll see it. Now I'll tell you what, yesterday. I just happened to be around right when this happened,
same.
I immediately saw the reports and started watching and paying attention. I'll tell you what, that Utah governor that came out. That dude was awesome.
I like him.
He was great, very heartfelt, and you could tell he really meant it. And then he said, and I want to remind you that in Utah, we still have the death penalty. And somebody might actually be getting the death penalty.
Let me ask you this, though. When you hear the death penalty, do you think it really means anything at this point?
In Utah, it does. They have the firing squad.
Do they? And how long does it take them, do you know, to actually
It probably takes a long time, but they get there in Utah. They're like Alabama, Texas, Florida. They get there.
Get her done.
With their death penalty.
Good. That I would celebrate that. That's justice. That's revenge.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm all for revenge. People say you never should take the life. That's another thing. These liberals will go defend some prisoner who's finally getting put the death penalty for something he committed in 1985, but they celebrate Charlie Cook.
Yeah, they do. A Pennsylvania public school emotional support teacher shared a post that was out of place. She called him a bigoted white nationalist mouthpiece who normalized Trumpism and does not deserve empathy after his assassination. He was a xenophobic, transphobic, Islamophobic, sexist, white national mouthpiece who made millions of dollars inciting hatred in this country. See, that's the thing. If your political point of view is not in line with the left-wing liberals, then all those names apply to you.
You're hateful.
All those things. If you're not in the group think, the group speech with the liberals, you're xenophobic, Islamophobic, homophobic, all those phobics. You're all those.
Did you know, you might have already known this, but I spent most of my life as a liberal.
I did not know that.
I was very much, I voted for Barack Obama the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Over the last 10 or 15 years, there's been a sea change, and I've been part of it. And I don't talk about it, publicly. I've never made a declaration. But the last 10 years has really changed my mind. And even though I'm not college age, they were worried about the young generation who have traditionally been liberal, been Democrats. I was part of the MTV generation, Rock the Vote and all that stuff.
Right.
And that stuck with me. But now that I've kind of outgrown that, Charlie Cook was making it cool to be.
Charlie Kirk.
I'm sorry, I keep saying Cook. Charlie Kirk was making it.
Well, there's a famous radio programmer named Charlie.
Yeah,
Cook,
let's not get the two confused. One
right.
plays Joe Diffie records,
uh-huh.
and one was changing the way the young people are getting political. And see, when I was a 20-year-old college-age kid, it was all about the Democrats, Bill Clinton, and all that. Charlie Cook was helped changing the time. Charlie Cook was playing Tim McGraw records. Charlie
Right.
Kirk was getting young people excited about conservatism, and somebody didn't like that.
You know, it's funny, John. I didn't know that about you, and I appreciate you telling me. But I've seen a lot of people do or go through exactly what you did. I've known so many people in my life who started out as liberals, somewhere on the spectrum, either extreme, in the middle, or just barely but they voted Democratic, who have, as they got older, realized I don't want to be that. I don't want to be with those people. I don't want to be associated with those people. And I see it all the time. And one of two things happens. People do what you did, and they come to the realization that that's not who I am, or they get worse.
They double down.
They double down on their liberalism. So
that's where my mother is now. She's 80, and she's doubled down. She still thinks it's the party of John Kennedy.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Yeah, the older Democrats, a lot of them still think that. The old blue dog, blue gum Democrats, they still think it's the same, and they don't keep up, so they don't know that it's not. They don't follow the news cycle and follow what these people are saying and doing and everything that's going on. And it's a shame. It really is. But I'm glad that you've come home to the conservative side of the spectrum, John. And
say that again?
I said, I'm glad you've come home to the conservative side of the spectrum. And, I think you're getting close to wanting to not be left behind. I think we're not far away from that.
Jack, I feel like I've wasted a lot of my life subscribing to the liberal mindset. And I think, part of that is probably my views on marriage probably would have been different had there been a Charlie Cook that I would have looked to. God, Charlie Cook was playing Alan Jackson records. I forgot. There was no Charlie Kirk. And I grew up Generation X, where it was all about, that's where this whole, the feminist movement came out of and most of my teachers growing up were all female, except for my shop teacher, Mr. Mack. And so a lot of Gen Xers are like me. They're like, wait a minute. We just thought it was John Kennedy. We thought it was Jimmy Carter. We were taught how great he was. And now we're starting to see, and for the first time in history, young people are starting to see conservatism as the way to go, which I think is a great thing. I just wish I was still a young person.
Yeah, I mean, again, how can you be against faith, family, and America? I just don't get it. I mean, really angers me. And Charlie, by the way, talked about this. He said the great threat to America is the left-wing radical Democratic Party teaming up with Islamists to take power in America and destroy our republic. And we see it happening. We see it happening with in Minnesota, in Texas, in Maine. It's spreading like wildfire. Listen, I believe more and more every day that England, they're this close to civil war.
Oh, yeah.
And if that happens, it'll break out.
Completely changing. They're just completely changing their culture.
Yeah, and it'll break out all across Europe. And I think maybe that's what Putin's waiting on. He's waiting for that to happen, and then he can attack Poland or whoever else, because, he got caught flying drones over Poland a couple of days ago. They shot a bunch down.
Speaking of Poland, okay. So the way we used to view Poland.
Polacks, yeah.
I want to move there. Have you seen the way of life there?
Yeah, it's a cool place. I hope that, nothing happens to it. But I think right now, Poland and one or two others are probably the best places in Europe, because they haven't allowed the country to be overrun by Islamic immigrants, African immigrants.
They won't let any of them in.
You see these videos of Italy, Rome, Italy, and places where there's
being overrun.
Hundreds of thousands of African immigrants with nowhere to go, nothing, and they're robbing people, they're pickpocketing. It's horrible. And something has to be done one way or the other sooner or later, or there's going to be a lot of violence.
I say, here's what we do. You and I, we get our checkered shirts and our striped pants, and we'll move to Poland, will fit right in. It's a
Sure,
great. They
don't
probably
you
take
know,
us.
Will?
We look just right the kind of people they would let
Mhm.
in.
Yeah. A lot of the Polish guys have a porn stash like yours, so I think you would fit in pretty quickly.
Well, my family's from the former Yugoslavia, so I'm from that area. I
Yeah.
kind
I
of got
think
that
that's
European
another
look.
country that hasn't let a lot of immigrants in. Yugoslavia is a lot like Poland.
Well, now they're Croatia, but yeah, they don't let anybody in.
Don't take the bait in talking about migrant crime or carjackings or the things that actually don't matter to that many Americans.
Say what?
Say what?
Well, I'm sure that the mayor of Charlotte, Von Lyles, was happy
That the heat's off her.
that the heat's off her because of the Charlie Kirk murder, that people will stop getting upset about the little 23-year-old Ukrainian girl that was killed on the train. But we haven't forgotten about it, Mayor. Now, to show you that the media has not changed, a lot of people go, boy, the media is really different since Trump got in office. They're not. All these local television stations are owned by, just like the radio stations, they're owned by like three, the biggest bunch of them are owned by 2 or 3 big media companies.
Now, let me interrupt. Well, let me remind the audience, you are Charlotte local, so tell everybody what the media, how they're covering this.
There's a company called Nexstar, and you've probably seen the promo, this montage that's on YouTube where they're, what they do, it shows an anchor, it goes, some people are trying to flood the airways with fake news. And then it goes to another anchor in a different city, and they go, somebody's trying to flood the airwaves with fake. So it's all these different TV stations all saying the same thing. They're all Nexstar.
Yeah, the same script.
Yeah, they're Nexstar, so they send it out and say, read this. Well, here in town, WBT television, in a lot of cases, I think what happens to these TV stations is this. They have a news director, a general manager, but their social media, they're so legacy media that they don't have a full handle on social media. So they go, get one of those young people that we just hired to run the social media. And what they don't look at is the biases.
You're so right. You're so right.
And what these young people are thinking. So they just start posting whatever they think, not thinking I'm posting for WBT television. They think, I'm going to stick it to Trump with this post. And they post something and people like me read it and go, what the hell are they? Yesterday, WBT posted, WBT News is looking into the accuracy of Trump's claims regarding the stabbing suspect's criminal history. And I read that and I went, if you don't know the suspect's criminal history and you're the TV news here in Charlotte, you're not doing your damn job very well, because I'm not in the TV news and I know his history. I knew it the day he killed her, and I went and looked it up and read it. He has
probably got 10 people working in that whole news department now. It's just like every radio station.
Doesn't matter. You got to be responsible for those tweets and text and social media posts that are going out. But I think you're right. They don't care.
The GM probably hired a 22-year-old college kid because she was pretty.
The funny thing was they got eaten alive on social media after that post, with people going, somebody, the first response went, hey, Grok, can you pull up the Charlotte murderer's criminal history, please? Chat GPT, can you tell me the criminal history of the Charlotte murderer? And it, of course, pops right up.
A lot different than it was during the days of St. George Floyd, where all the media would really seem to care about victimhood, and we're all over it. When it's a pretty girl who's just on the train, they'll find a way to we got to cover this. We got to cover this.
New York Times, by the way, I saw this yesterday. They did, during the George Floyd thing, a total of over 5,000 articles about him. They've done 0 about this young girl that was murdered. Doug Martin, in response to the tweet by WBT, said, again, WBTV taking the side of criminals instead of the victim. I've lived in Charlotte my entire life, and the distance you've fallen as a legitimate news source is appalling. I agree, Doug. Way to go. By the way, I'm starting to get some comments on the YouTube from some of our viewers that aren't too positive. You know what I really get the response to are the walk in the woods comments that I do every morning, John. I post those now on YouTube, and I'll read some of those a little bit later.
All right, I can hardly wait.
Hey.
A couple of other things going on. New York Governor Kathy Hochul. She's the one that replaced Governor Cuomo, who killed all those people during COVID by stuffing them in the nursing homes where they were guaranteed to die. She was this past Sunday at the black congregation. Why do we still have black and white congregations?
Because she's racist.
Anyway,
I don't see the color of a congregation, Jack. I just see a congregation.
Yeah, believers. It's the True Bethel Baptist Church, and they're big supporters of hers. I mean, she got up, and I love it when the white women get up in the pulpit, politicians at the black church, and they get that black voice going.
Funny how that works.
I want to thank you for being my friends.
Hillary Clinton did it.
Yeah, Hillary did it. Bill did it. She did it. But anyway, this is pretty funny. She got up and thanked him for supporting her and being their friend, and she told him how she's going to help black children learn more, and she's going to help black children. And then she said, by the way, we've got inflation rebate checks coming out soon. Always dangle the money in front of the black man. We've got inflation rebate checks coming out soon. She said,
well,
watch
she knows
the mail.
her audience.
She said, watch the mail. And then she said this, okay, and don't spend it all in one day. Get yourself something you really need. Don't stop by the liquor store, okay? Buy something for the kids. Buy some food. Sometimes
she really
I have
said that? My
yes.
God.
She said, sometimes I have to stop by the liquor store too. I understand it's all right, but don't spend it all there.
Again, she's appealing to her base.
She really is. And then after she spoke, they weren't offended. The preacher got up and goes, oh, thank the Lord the governor was here today at the True Bethel Baptist Church.
You know, I think you may be onto something when you said I'm getting closer and closer to not being left behind.
Mm-hmm.
Because the phrase, these are the end of times, floats through my head a lot these days. Are these the end of times? There's no guarantee that America is going to last forever. Rome didn't. England isn't.
Well, listen, these are all the end of times because the next big thing that happens is going to be he's going to come back, and you don't want to get
but,
left behind.
You people have been saying that for a long time. I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I don't care if that happens tomorrow or in 10 years or whatever. If I die before it happens, that's okay too. Because
hey, let me ask you this.
I have a hope of going to somewhere better and that I don't know how people who don't have faith survive day to day. If it's
the end of time, if the end of times comes in 10 years and you die tomorrow, what do you do for 10 years? Do you just wait? Are you in purgatory?
Well, your spirit would be with the Lord, depending on, you may spend some time in purgatory. I mean, I believe that, but your spirit will be the Lord. But listen, going to purgatory is not a bad thing.
How do you get out of purgatory?
You get out of, when you're cleansed of any sins you had when you died, and then you will go on to heaven. But the thing is, if you're in purgatory, you're going to make it to heaven. That's
Isn't
not
that sort
bad
of like
news.
Highway to Heaven, where Michael Landon and Victor French, Michael had to earn his wings, so he had to come down and help people, and he'd help a kid find his dog every week. Remember that
TV
show?
Angel stuff. That's like when people have funerals and they go, she got her angel wings today. No, she didn't. We don't become angels. We become actually superior to angels.
Well, I have been very misinformed. I need to go back and check my notes.
Yeah, we don't become angels. That's just a slogan somebody got. But the bottom line is, for people that don't have any faith, to me, the world would be such a dark place when you're just looking at, I'm going to die. They're going to put me in the hole to rot. I mean, if that's it, what's the point?
Some people wonder if that's it. Famously, like Mark Twain and Albert Einstein were just like, when I die, I die. And you wonder, you hope that ain't the case.
Albert Einstein was not religious or anything, but I've read he believed in God. And, he
I'm
didn't
sorry to keep all the
practice
smoke
it.
on. I'm sorry.
Well, I
about
know
that.
it's a very stressful day with the assassination. I figured you'd been smoking nonstop.
Charlie Cook will be missed.
Charlie Kirk will be missed. Charlie
That's
Cook,
right.
I'm not sure anybody misses.
Charlie Cook's busy playing the new Garth Brooks album on Sirius
By the way,
XM.
if you're wondering, he's like a famous country radio programmer that we both know. Pop culture news. Hulk Hogan left. I have a lot of questions about this. This and Cracker Barrel had me verschmeckled. Hulk Hogan left a $5 million estate plus $11 million in real estate, and he left it all to his son, Nick. His daughter, Brooke, has to be removed from the will a few years ago.
Yeah, she didn't want anything to do with it.
Which I don't know if I understand that altogether. But my question is, how the heck did Hulk Hogan win all that money he won from those two lawsuits, and he only has $16 million in assets?
Well, I'll tell you, because I've actually been following, and I do follow the Hulk Hogan story.
Okay, educate me.
And that is to say, he did get a $100 million settlement from the website that posted.
Was it
Gawker?
Gawker, okay.
They didn't have it.
him.
They didn't have it. So he got like $9 million.
Okay, but
And
he
they
also sued Cox Communications.
And that was for an undisclosed amount. And
well, I just saw an interview with Bubba the Love Sponge. He's on the talking about all this now. And he said people close to Hogan told him they wrote him a check for $50 million.
Okay, well, if you look at that, then you look at Hulk's lifestyle, and as you and I know, money can blow away.
Yeah.
And there's taxes.
Yeah.
And there's
no,
lawyers'
not
fees.
on those settlements. There's no taxes. You
Not
don't
on a
pay
settlement?
You don't pay taxes on that. It's like life insurance. It's not income. It's not income.
Maybe
It's not
Hulk was really bad with money.
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, maybe it's because he married that girl named Sky.
Well, now, his last wife, she might have been siphoning
Guy.
money off to put into the Church of Scientology, which is based in California and Tampa, Florida, and she was a
Very
member.
possible. Very possible.
Everybody's got to get their taste.
She is thinking about suing somebody because, you know, she got cut out of the deal here.
Well, she's only been around a couple of years. She didn't earn that money.
But they were married, and, you know, she's a surviving spouse, which means she may have rights to a part of the estate. We'll have to see.
Could be, but Nick was the only one who still talked to him. He and Brooke were estranged, and Nick and him, you know, stayed quasi-tight. They were never really super tight.
All right, so that's the pop culture news for today.
Fuck off.
So, John, do you ever see those videos where people are on? There's one floating around right now where somebody's on a cruise. I think it's a Carnival cruise. That's where all the bad stuff happens.
Right.
This person, I can't tell if it's a woman or a man, but they're in the pool, and the way the pool is, it's up against the edge of the deck, and they have a glass wall up above the pool. So you're in the pool, and if you're standing in the pool, you come up to like right here on the bottom of the glass, and then there's, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet of glass above you. Understand? So this person, for some asinine reason, reaches up and pulls themselves up and leans over the glass and falls over into the ocean.
Into the ocean?
Yeah, fell into
I was thinking like
no,
a
they're on the
restaurant.
edge. They're on the edge. The way it is, the pool goes right up to the
Okay.
edge of the boat, and then there's this glass wall, and they pull themselves up and are going to lean over like they're cool, and they fell out of the cruise ship.
Did they find him?
I don't know. I
You know,
just
it
saw the
takes
video.
2 hours. It'll take 2 hours from
For
the
it to
time
turn
you-
around?
To turn it around. That's if somebody notices you.
Well,
That's if
obviously, this was on video, so a lot of people noticed. The reason I bring that up is that there was a guy on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship last weekend, and he had been gambling in the casino on board, and he'd gotten markers from the cruise line. So he lost his money and said, "Hey, can I get a mark? Anyway, he was $16,700 in debt from the casino on the ship. And I guess he got he dove off the boat. And
my God.
Now they rescued him, and he was arrested, and now he faces $250,000 in fines and 5 years in prison for jumping off the boat.
I don't even go in the ocean. I'll never go on another cruise. These people are nuts.
You really are. Well, I hope you have a great day. I ask you, if you would, to please like this video and subscribe to the podcast the way a lot of people are. Hey, can we read some of the real quick before we go? Can we read some of the comments?
And tell me where we are on subs.
Yeah,
I want to see if Thursdays spike. Thursdays with Johnny. Do the numbers spike?
Let me just take a look over here at YouTube real quick.
Take a look at our stats.
Trying to avoid you or anything. Let me take a look here. Let me go to the channel.
And I'll sit here and look at my phone while you do that rather than entertain the crowd.
All right, right now we have 205 subscribers. 205, so one more than we had earlier. So here's a comment from Mandy in Kentucky. She said, I agree. Let's get a petition to have that judge removed from duty. By the way, John, yesterday we talked about this, and did you know that in this magistrate that let the guy that killed the young lady on the train go, she doesn't even have a law degree?
Yeah, I saw that.
You don't have
you know
to.
What'll happen to her? No.
Well, I think the law is going to change, and in the future, you'll at least have to have a law degree. Now then, somebody named SBTMMO5 commented, speaking of me, this guy's a right-winger, blame everyone type of guy. There's no other alternative answer than his. It's like Trump sending the National Guard to deter crime.
I'm all for that.
Yeah. Well.
Are you a right-winger?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm a right-winger, no doubt. Yeah.
I'm very
Also, let's say hi to my friend John Williard in Marietta, Georgia. He said he's patiently waiting his shout-out, so.
Oh, man, let me tell you about John Williard. He's a great voice guy. He does voices like, your hit-kicking country, 105.7, The Beaver.
Very old friend of mine. We worked together in Atlanta years ago.
When it was a Saturday during the COVID virus, and Kenny Rogers died, I called John Williard up, and I said, man, I hate to bother you on a Saturday. What are you doing? He's like, I'm eating lunch or taking a nap or something. I was like, can I get some Kenny Rogers liners? I'm going to put together a Kenny Rogers tribute show. And he had those voice lines to me in 10 minutes.
Yeah, great guy, John.
Hire that man if you're a radio station.
He's a great guy. By the way, he's not going to get left behind, John, just so you know.
Is he? With a voice like that, he better not be.
He's a believer. He'll be the announcer in heaven one day. Our homeboy Goose commented, talking about when I said the alleged murderer.
It's not alleged. Just say murderer. Saw it happen.
I said he should have been in a mental hospital. He said they were mostly closed down because of Reagan, and these places were literally hell on earth. The vast majority of homeless people have medical bankruptcies because of our outrageous health care.
I don't care.
What? I agree. I agree that was the biggest mistake of the Reagan presidency, but your study that most of these people have medical bankruptcies makes up the majority of the population is false. I have another person who said most of the people that are homeless are veterans. Do you want them to get? That's not true either.
That's not true. The VA has programs for veterans.
Yeah. Most of the people that are homeless have mental issues or substance abuse issues. There are people who have lost jobs and other things that are out there, but mostly it's people that have made bad choices or they have mental.
And a lot of people like living the life of a vagabond. We don't understand that, but they do. But the line they always try to say is, these are people who had a good job working at IBM and now they're homeless. That's the line. It's sort of like when these looters will go and loot a Walmart. They try to pass it
They don't have anything at home, John. They're just hungry.
They need food, but it's not food they're stealing. It's televisions and boom boxes and stuff. So don't buy the line about these are hardworking Americans who are down on their luck. Sure, there is that, but there's also programs to help anybody who needs a hand up. Give me a friggin' break with the mental health illness bit,
said Charlie Cook.
Get some help.
So we're kind of, I just want to give you a heads up. We are dealing with some technical issues here at the Jack Murphy Podcast. My computer, I have found out, a little bit underpowered, and I actually ordered a new one, but I didn't order enough memory. And so I sent it back. We have another one on the way. So we're not able to play videos for a few days. I wish we were, John, because I've got a video of a preacher in Baltimore, Maryland, who's complaining and says that it's racist that Walgreens is shutting down locations in the bad area of town in Baltimore, that all these old people depend on it. But it's racist. No, it's not. It's that they can't afford to keep letting people loot the drugstores because they can't afford to keep restocking it for free. That's the bottom line.
I blame these communities for not keeping their stores, treating them with respect.
Exactly.
And I'm not even saying, go and beating up shoplifters, but go to the manager and go, hey, that guy down there is stealing a bunch of stuff, and I don't want this store to get shut down. You got to start tattling. You got to start snitching.
Well, the attitude of corporate America is they tell the employees at these places, well, some of them do, some of them don't, like Target, Walmart, they have security departments there, but a lot of them just say, don't confront the shoplifter, and they write it off. But when the losses get too big, they just close the store. Just the way it works. Well, anyway, thank you for taking time out of your day or night or whenever you're watching this to check out the Jack Murphy Podcast. Again, subscribe, like the video, and we'll see you tomorrow here on the Jack Murphy Podcast.
Thanks for watching the Jack Murphy Podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Go ahead, ring it. Get alerts when a new episode drops. And tell your friends about the Jack Murphy Podcast. But only the cool friends, please. Tune in next time for another episode of the Jack Murphy Podcast.